Hello everybody, welcome to another exciting After Effects tutorial, and this is for the new Boston. And this time we're going to be talking a little bit about editing keyframes, and I'll give you some tips and pointers and things to look out for. Well, the first thing I want to remind everybody that the keyframes are down here. You know which keyframe you have selected. You can select it with the selection tool. It'll be yellow. If you click in the area, the gray area, and drag and create it like a box, you can select multiple and click, drag, and then hold shift to click opposite ones. And that way when you click on them, you can skip ones in the middle. So if you click on this keyframe and then click on this keyframe, you don't have to have the middle one selected, and then you can do something like move these. See? Alright. Another technique that I like, select all the keyframes, and if you grab the last one and hold shift, excuse me, it's not shift, it is alt. Sorry, it is alt. It will drag out the keyframes and keep the spacing in between them. That's really handy when you think you got like good spacing, but it's a little too slow. Go like move it in, and it'll speed it up. To preview your keyframe, or to preview your animation, you can hit spacebar. And you can tell if it's in real time by looking up here in the info panel. It'll say real time. Sometimes your animation will be a little effect intensive or something like that, and it won't render in real time. So if that ever happens, then you go over here to the preview section here, and then you click on this RAM preview button, and then that will it will render out a section and then preview it in real time for you. And the amount that you can render out and preview depends on how much RAM you have. So the more RAM, the more you can render on there. The more you can see your animation. Sometimes it'll stop in the middle and keep rendering. So you get my point. Another quick tip here is using this workspace tool right here, or the workspace slider right here. If you drag it, you can extend where you'll be previewing to. So maybe I only want to render these two keyframes right here. So click on the RAM preview button again. Now it's only gonna render to that area. It's good if you don't want to wait forever to see the whole animation. Maybe you just want to see a little bit of it. So click on that RAM preview again to stop it. Now you can move this here and move it out a little. I like to always leave a little bit at the end, because you can see your animation smoothly without it snapping back real quick. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me drag these keyframes out a little bit, and then I'll put this right here at the end. Let's RAM preview it. You can see how you can't really see the end very well, and it snaps back, so sometimes you can't get a good feel for your animation, especially when it's fast. Something to watch out for when you're editing keyframes. Now, if you remember, I told you that you could edit the points. So sometimes you may select a point here and go to edit it, but you realize, oh crap, it added another point, and you didn't want that. When you scrub on the sliders here in the position panel, in the position twirl down menu, it's going to put a keyframe where you have your current time indicator. So you see that I have my current time indicator right here. So it made a keyframe there. Now to delete a keyframe, just click on it and hit delete on your keyboard. And use your shift button to snap. There you go. And now you can move that keyframe. You don't even have to have it selected. Another way to scroll through your keyframes and everything is the J and K button will move between keyframes. So that is very useful. The page up and page down button on your keyframe will move, or on your keyboard I mean, will move. Page down moves it forward 1 frame, page up moves it back 1 frame. So that way you can get really precise. Hold shift and hit page down, you'll go up 10 frames. Shift page up will go back 10 frames. If you need really precise keyframes, you can zoom in really far, and then you can see where each keyframe, or where each frame is. And then you can go frame by frame if you really need to. Sometimes you might. I've used it this way before, and it's pretty useful. And then you can just either use this up here to zoom back out, or use this again to zoom back out down here. Either or. Oh, gotta zoom out, not in. Now, also, if you have this twirled down and you need to find all your keyframes, if you hit U, it will show all your animated values. If you hit UU twice in succession, really quick, it'll show all the changed values. So if I change, oh well, another tip will be how to add a keyframe in the middle of something when you don't want to actually change the value, you just want to add a keyframe. Maybe you want to edit later or something like that. You can click on this button here, which shows like a little diamond. Click on it and it'll add a keyframe. Instead of, and if you don't want to use the J and K buttons to move to keyframe, you can click on these arrows here. But it's faster to use J and K unless you're already over here. So you can leave that keyframe in there. If you switch to the pen tool, pressing G or coming up here, going to the pen tool, you can add points on the motion path, add keyframes. When it turns into a plus, you can see right now the icon is just a pen, and now it's a pen with a plus. And as you see, I added another keyframe in there, and it is down here on the bottom. So that's an overview of how to edit your keyframes, and there are more ways to edit your keyframes in different types of keyframes and other things that we'll be going over in a later tutorial. But for now, it's about time we head out. I gotta go catch a fish fry down at the local Legion, and the Penguins versus New York Rangers hockey game is on, so I'll be watching that also. And I think Bucky is at that hockey game right now, so wish his team luck, and hopefully you guys know which one it is. I'm not gonna tell you. You'll have to figure it out or ask him. So have a good one, guys.